As a top 1% Proctor Gallagher consultant mentored by Bob Proctor himself, I know firsthand exactly how to use the subconscious mind to attract high paying clients because I've done it for myself and for my clients whose results you're going to see as we go along. So today, I'm skipping the fluff. I'm showing you exactly how to shift your subconscious mind for bigger, better business with steps that you can use right away. You see, for years I was trying. I was watching Bob Proctor on YouTube. I was reading every book I could find, filling notebooks with information, and I thought I was doing everything right. But for some reason, my results weren't changing. And year after year, I kept telling the lady that I was with at the time that next year will be different. And to be honest, every year just looked the same. She was paying most of the rent. I had two small kids who I wanted to give the world to, but I couldn't even take them on holiday. Imagine that. I'd literally go to bed feeling flat and just wake up pissed off and frustrated, wondering what was wrong with me. And I was grinding harder, chasing clients. On the outside, I was doing all of the right things, but the harder I worked, the further that freedom that I really wanted felt. And deep down, if I'm honest, the emotion underneath it all was shame. It really was. Because as a man, I didn't want the woman that I was with paying the rent. And worst, I started to believe maybe success just wasn't for a person like me. People have been reaching out to help me for years, but I didn't listen because I knew, because I thought I knew what I needed. I was studying, I was learning, I had all the information, but my results were evidence that something deeper was off. Clearly, what I was doing wasn't working. Then one day I had a call with a guy called Cam. Okay, he worked with Bob Proctor's team, and on that call, everything changed because I made a decision to get mentorship. Now, as I went through that mentorship, I came across something that completely transformed my understanding of how success actually happens. And it was this figure. It was the stick person. Now, you might look at it and think it's stupid, but pay attention. If you've never seen the stick person before, this simple little diagram is one of the most powerful tools that you'll ever come across. Now, the big circle at the top represents your mind, and we divide that into two, okay? Your conscious mind at the top, your subconscious mind at the bottom. Now, your conscious mind is your thinking mind. So that's where you gather information. Okay, so when you're watching this YouTube video right now, or when you're at home and you're reading a book, that's the part that's learning your conscious mind. But underneath that is your subconscious mind. Okay, and that's where everything you believe about yourself lives. Your subconscious mind doesn't think, it's your emotional mind. So it's the part that controls how you feel, and feeling is just another word for your vibration. Now pay attention. Your vibration dictates what you attract, whether you believe it or not. So if you consciously want to attract high paying clients, but subconsciously don't feel worthy of them, then what you're going to do is repel them without even realizing it. You're going to underprice. You're going to hesitate. You might talk too much on sales calls, or you'll keep saying, let me think about it, when opportunities that would literally change your life present themselves because your self image is set at a lower level than your desire. That's exactly what I discovered about myself. I didn't need more information in my conscious mind. I needed to change the image that I held in my subconscious, the image of who I thought I was and what I believed that I could earn. Once I impressed that new image on my subconscious mind, my life literally changed like night and day. Within 5.5 months, I went from stuck at £15,000 a year for 8 years to earning over £18,000 a month with no business experience. And I wasn't forcing results anymore. You see, what force does is it negates. What I was doing was I wasn't chasing clients, I was attracting them. And I remember buying my family an amazing trip to Dubai. I was watching my kids, Esme, Eli, running about in the sunshine. And that was the moment that I realized that this material wasn't just theory. This was real. Because I'm telling you, when you shift your subconscious mind, your entire vibration changes and life starts to respond to you differently. Now, let's talk about how this relates to you attracting more high paying clients. You see, it's not strategy that gets you high paying clients. The thing that's going to attract more clients to you is your self image. Now, if you don't see yourself as someone who can confidently charge premium prices, then you're going to unconsciously sabotage every opportunity that matches that frequency. You'll hesitate to quote your price You'll justify discounts. You'll attract clients who can't afford your services. Why? Because everything is vibration and they match your vibration. But I'm telling you, the moment that your self image shifts, everything else is going to follow for you. You start speaking differently. You start to carry yourself with more certainty. You stop chasing clients and you start magnetizing them because the subconscious mind controls the vibration that you send out. And people respond to vibration, not words. That's very important that you get that. Okay, let me show you what I mean with a real client example. One of my clients, Peter, when he first came to me, he was in a business that no longer lit him up. And he really wasn't happy with his results and he'd been running around for years in circles. Now, on our first call, I could tell that Peter didn't believe that he was worthy of great clients and large amounts of money. And that belief is exactly why his results weren't changing. In other words, his self-image was keeping him stuck where he was. So what did we do? We went right to work on that. I had Peter write out a description of who he wanted to be as a business owner. Now, I'm not talking about what he just did. I'm talking about who he was being. So we worked on seeing himself as someone who naturally attracts clients who value transformation, not just transactions. He wrote how he wanted people to perceive him, how they approached him, how they spoke to him, how they paid him. Now, do you know what happened from changing his self-image? Within 6 weeks, Peter made £20,000 in new sales and it happened effortless. And today, he's literally making £40,000 a month consistently. Now, if I can do it, if Peter can do it, I'm just telling you that so you know that you can do it because Peter's image now matched his goal. That's the power of changing your subconscious mind. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So how do you start doing this for yourself? Well, here's what I want you to do right after this video. I want you to grab a pen and what I want you to do is write out a detailed description of the kind of client that you attract when operating at your highest level. Okay? Describe everything. How do they show up to the sales call? What's their energy like? Do they pay in full or do they ask for a plan? And most importantly, how do you feel when working with them? That's so important. You don't want to say yes to anyone. You want to attract the right type of client. Then I want you to record that description in your own voice and listen to it at least 4 times a day. Morning, noon, evening, and right before bed. Why? Because that repetition impresses a new image upon your subconscious mind. And once your subconscious believes it, your vibration changes. Okay? You start thinking, feeling, acting like the version of you who naturally attracts those clients. You stop coming across and acting like the person who's chasing them. Now, I told you before, this isn't about forcing, it's about becoming. When your self image expands, your business expands automatically. And you know, most people, they understand this part intellectually on a conscious level, right? They nod their head, they say it makes sense, but they never actually shift it because they think that studying or reading more books or even gathering more information will do it, but it won't. And that's what I cover in the video that you can see on screen. You see, knowing what to do is one thing, getting it impressed upon your subconscious mind is another. So go and watch that video right now.